Harness your harvest. Applying the principles of a successful harvest to building wealth. In this short video, we are going to look at some of the principles of building wealth and see if we can learn anything from the process of growing your own food to provide an example. Although these processes may seem totally unrelated, the reality is that there has always been a strong connection between food and wealth. One of the first industries of ancient society would have been founded on the exchange of commodities between those who had food and those who didn't. It is no wonder that agriculture still holds a place as one of the largest and most important industries in our modern world. As we look to place ourselves in a position to build wealth, let's take a closer look at how produce is grown to make its way from field to fork, and see if we can apply some of the same principles in this process to that required to plant, grow, and harvest our own wealth. Let's start by examining what it takes to grow your own food. Growing your own food is not hard, but you need to understand the processes involved to successfully be able to reap a good harvest. Every harvest starts with an idea. A good planter doesn't always grow the same things every growing season. Depending on the conditions that exist in their life at the time, the idea of what they want to grow may change from year to year. Once they have an idea of what they want to grow, the good planter has to maintain a positive outlook as to what they may be able to achieve for the year. This is extremely important as a huge amount of effort will go into the growing process, and without the right mindset, it is very easy to start the planting process and just give up at various stages along the way. Once both the idea of what you want to grow is in place and your mindset is at a place where you're ready to start the process, then an initial investment is usually required to get at minimum the seed stock or other materials such as tools so that you can start the growing process officially. At this point, having the right knowledge is critical. Although of course anyone can learn along the way, the grower with knowledge will inevitably reap a more bountiful harvest than the experienced one. Time is also an essential element that will be required at this point, one of the biggest in fact, and most people who see other people reaping the rewards of growing their own food underestimate the amount of time that has actually gone into making that happen. While this investment of time is absolutely essential, this is matched by the investment of energy required to make the physical activities needed to make the growing process not just happen, but happen efficiently and effectively. A key element to ensuring the heavy investment of time and energy is effective is the ability of the grower to be disciplined and organized to ensure that all of their hard work and efforts are carried out in a manner that actually will bring about successful results. While most of these things are under the control of the grower, there are external factors that are also critical to the ability to reap a bountiful harvest. Most important of all, or rather the area where the growing process will be taking place, is in a beneficial environment, including not just physical environmental conditions, like availability of sunlight, water, and soil conditions, but also the social aspects of the environment, meaning what type of people and people-driven activities may affect or interfere with the successful growth of your crop. So how is the process of growing food similar to the process of building wealth? How are the factors we just described synonymous with those required for successful wealth building? Let's examine the similarities now. Every wealth building activity starts with an idea, whether that be a grandiose vision as to how you will change the world with some commercial product or service, or a more basic desire to just save a small amount of money every month. The planting of this wealth seed is essential to be able to reap a wealth harvest in the future. Once this idea has been sown, then a positive outlook is essential to drive your idea to a successful outcome, ensuring that any pitfalls you may encounter along the way are seen as challenges to promote positive change rather than obstacles to hold you back. An initial investment is usually required to get your idea off the ground, and this is a fact that holds many people back from actually starting the process of building wealth. This investment can come in the form of money for a product or service that can be sold on for a profit, but also can come in the form of investing either your time, effort, and energy in acquiring the knowledge needed to start your wealth building process and keep giving it momentum as it grows. No matter what the wealth building agenda is and what form the process is in, whether building wealth through saving, investing, or business, being organized with your time and activities, as well as maintaining discipline to sticking to the necessary tasks to make gains is critical to staying on track to having a bountiful wealth harvest. Wealth building is not carried out in a vacuum, so ensuring that any wealth building activities take place in a positive and constructive environment, which also includes positive and supportive people, is also essential. If these factors are all in place and give adequate consideration, then at the end of your efforts to build wealth, you are almost guaranteed to have made progress, and in the long run will reap a harvest of gain of which you did not have present before. The process of growing food is not always smooth sailing, and any experienced grower will affirm this fact. The same inevitably goes with the process of wealth building. As with growing food, there are adversaries that will interfere and try to reduce your successful harvest along the way. Just as there are pests and thieves in the growing process, there will be agencies either personal to you or external that will attempt to take some of the gains you will make as your wealth harvest grows and ripens. The environment, even if carefully considered, may also change, as the economy can bring storms of change or the presence of disease, which in a wealth building context can be compared to unexpected events that threaten your productivity. Just as drought can affect your growing conditions, despite the best plans, there may be times when your ability to support your wealth building endeavors financially may not be possible. Laziness and disorganization are also major indicators of whether someone will harvest a good crop. And it is the same with wealth building, as those who think there is such a thing as a get-rich-quick scheme will soon find out that only hard work and organization result in building wealth. And although someone may have the best ideas, the health, the strength, and finances to back an idea, if the right tools are not available to make the growing process happen effectively and efficiently, the results can stall. The same applies to the wealth building process. Having the right tools that can support your specific strategy or desired outcome to build wealth is essential, whether that be how to save the best way, how to reduce debt, or how to start a niche business. Just as with the process of growing food, once you learn the principles towards wealth building, you will never have a harvest unless you complete the most essential step. That is, taking action. Like the seeds which eventually bring about your food harvest, the act of taking action does not need to be big. It just needs to be done. Take action today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, and see how your wealth harvest grows, so that one day in the future, you too will be able to harvest the fruits of your labor.